Marc Marquez was the fastest rider on the entire circuit when it happened, 5 laps from a podium finish, closing on Raul Fernandez every single lap. And then, at turn 4 on lap 21, his rear rim exploded, the tire ripping off the wheel at racing speed, rubber hanging off the rim, the reigning world champion limping to the side of the Buriram circuit on a destroyed wheel. And now, the theory emerging about exactly why it happened is something nobody in MotoGP saw coming. If MotoGP lives rent-free in your head, hit subscribe. We break down every race, every drama, and every championship twist before anyone else. Here is what we know for certain. Marquez was running 4th, managing a deliberately calm race after a sluggish start that he later admitted was entirely intentional. His shoulder still not fully recovered from the injury he sustained at the end of 2025 inches. Indonesia was a factor, and he had decided to wait. "I knew it would be a long race for the tires, for my physical condition," he explained afterward. "I said, okay, I want to be calm. Doesn't matter if they overtook me." Then, when 10 laps remained, that's when I started to attack. And attack he did. He was visibly quicker than the riders ahead of him in the closing stages, closing on Fernandez lap by lap. Michelin's own chief, Piero Taramasso, confirmed it bluntly. It's a shame for him because at that point he was the fastest on the track. A podium was not just possible. According to Ducati team manager Davide Tardozzi, it was certain. Marquez had been significantly faster than Fernandez. The podium would have been certain without the defect, Tardozzi said. Then he ran slightly wide at the exit of turn 4, and everything collapsed. Marquez described the exact moment to Sky Sport MotoGP with striking precision. "In my opinion, the tire exploded on the curb. It's true the rear stepped out on me, but that was normal because I entered the corner hard." He then told TNT Sport, "I said, okay, I just want to save a risky moment. But just when I jumped the curb, the rear tire exploded. Very strange, very unlucky I would say, because I was doing a race that was super calm. You saw that I was managing well. But it's like this. We need to think about the next race." He then added the detail that has become the centerpiece of everything that followed. "It was super strange because even the rim was completely damaged. It even exploded the rim. So I feel really lucky that it was not a massive high side." At the speed he was traveling through turn 4, a rear tire ripping clean off the rim had every ingredient for a catastrophic crash. He was fortunate to walk away. Tardozzi faced the cameras with the kind of disbelief you simply do not often see from a man who has spent over a decade managing one of the most successful operations in MotoGP history. "Unfortunately, he went to the curb at turn 4, and he broke the rim," he said. "That's why he lost the air, and he was forced to stop. He hit the edge of the apex and he broke the wheel. No, I don't remember that I've ever seen something like that. We could say that it was a mistake, but he has been really unlucky because many riders went out in turn 4 and nobody had this problem. Anyway, it's like this. He hit the curb, he doesn't know why, but the rim exploded." The last 5 words of that statement are the ones that opened the floodgates, because if even Ducati's own team manager cannot explain why the rim exploded, then something deeper is going on. And here is the shocking theory that Michelin's Piero Taramasso laid out after the race, one that reframes the entire incident completely. It was not just about Marquez going wide. It was about a perfect storm of conditions that turned a curb he had crossed safely hundreds of times into something genuinely dangerous. Taramasso told Canal Plus, "We had this problem all weekend. Many wheels bent when they returned to our tent because it was very hot. The material is really soft and the curbs are very aggressive." He then revealed something that had gone almost completely unnoticed during the sprint race the day before. Jorge Martin had suffered a loss of tire pressure that the stewards initially investigated as a potential rules violation, but no penalty was issued, because the investigation concluded it was caused by a leaking wheel rim after a curb strike. A front wheel, not a rear. A slow leak, not a sudden explosion, but the same mechanism. Taramasso confirmed it directly. Jorge Martin's loss of pressure at the front on Saturday was the same thing. He hit a curb, the front wheel bent and the air came out. Jorge had a slow leak, and Marc lost all the air at once. Two riders, 2 different days, 2 different wheels, the same curbs doing the same damage in the same race weekend. The theory emerging from Michelin's data is this: the magnesium alloy rims used across MotoGP, manufactured by companies like OZ and Marchesini, begin to soften under extreme heat. On Sunday at Buriram, air temperatures hit 35 degrees Celsius, and asphalt temperatures reached 55 degrees, the highest values of the entire weekend, and significantly hotter than during pre-season testing at the same circuit just 1 week earlier. Marquez himself flagged this exact point as the central mystery. "I jumped that curb, I think, hundreds of times in the test, or even in practice, and nothing happened. But today, it exploded." A rim already softened by hours of extreme braking heat, at a circuit with 4 consecutive hard braking zones that generate some of the highest thermal stress on the entire MotoGP calendar, hitting the edge of an aggressive Misano 200 type curb. Under those specific conditions, on that specific day, the rim simply had no structural integrity left to absorb the impact. Michelin is pointing clearly at the curbs as the primary cause, and Marquez, despite everything, has refused to point fingers at anyone. "It's not a problem of Michelin, and it's not a problem of the track," he said. "It's just those double curbs are good for some reasons, but today we saw something unusual. But it happens." The fan reaction has been furious. Social media exploded within minutes of the retirement, with MotoGP followers unleashing their anger directly at Michelin. "Did the rim literally melt from the heat? What the hell?" wrote one bewildered fan. 15 years of MotoGP, don't recall seeing that, especially on multiple drivers in the same race, wrote another. The fury is understandable. The reigning world champion, in his title defense, retiring from the opening race of the season with a failure that nobody can fully explain, at a track where the same issue hit multiple bikes across the same weekend, has left the paddock with serious questions that need answering before Argentina. Now look at the championship damage, because it is real and it is immediate. Marquez left Thailand 8th in the standings with just 9 points from the sprint. Pedro Acosta leads the championship for the first time in his career. Bezzecchi is second. The best Ducati on Sunday was Fabio Di Gianantonio, in 6th over 15 seconds behind race winner Bezzecchi. And Tardozzi admitted the most alarming thing of all: there is something strange that this weekend we found the bike completely different from the previous one when we were here for the test. That's something that we still haven't understood. A factory team boss saying publicly that he does not know why his championship-winning bike performed so differently at the same circuit, just 7 days apart. That is a statement that will define Ducati's opening weeks of 2026. What do you think? Should the FIM investigate the Buriram curbs and make changes before the next race? Is Michelin responsible for what happened to Marquez? Or was this a freak combination of conditions nobody could have predicted? And with Aprilia looking this strong in round 1, who do you now think wins the 2026 MotoGP World Championship? Drop your predictions in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more MotoGP news. I'll catch you in the next one.